Hey, good morning and welcome to another edition of the Patriot Radio News Hour. We're rocking and firing this morning from beautiful Deer Valley Air Park, Arizona, and I hope this finds you well on this 15th day of October 2019, the year of our Lord. This show is brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender, things that you can count on. Protect your tomorrows with something that wasn't born yesterday. Call 1-800-951-0592 or head out to allamericangold.com on the World Wide Web. For all you people who file extensions on your tax returns, in case you forgot, they're due today.
You just scared the crap out of,
everybody. What?
What?
Well, you got to pay your taxes, but you don't have to file. They're not due till the 15th. You have to guesstimate it. Everybody who owns a business files an extension. So and it is the day. So the accountants are all running wild. It's the April 15th personified. So anyway, I thought I'd drop that bomb on you. And what is it? What has gone so wrong in this country as we rewrite the history books? Yesterday, monitoring, just driving around, you catch talk radio on the air. I'll tell you, there's a new talk show host out there, Sebastian Gorka. He's pretty good. And he was talking about in D.C. how they're banned Columbus Day. And they don't allow it, and you forget about what's really going on out there and how the Dems and the Libs, of course, the Democrats, their debate tonight, the circular firing squad has started, as they're all just going to fire at each other. It should be, idiots on ice. So, but you look at the rewriting American history. You look at this; they want to get rid of. There's two holidays, as most know. I'll just read this article out of the Huffington Post. As most of us know, there's no reason on the planet for the United States to observe at least two holidays: Columbus Day and Thanksgiving. Both for the same reason. The United States' perception of Christopher Columbus is filled with erroneous information. He was a killer. Yet we stand by the genocidal tactics of celebrating one who didn't just marginalize a people, but mutilated them. Though he may be long dead, his legacy is not. The social consequences of invasion of the Americas continue through this day, not to mention the impact on our environment. I mean, think about that. If Christopher Columbus never discovered America, everything would be perfect here. Oh, my God. All must pull together in unity to reverse the injustice and racism started in 1492. And I never really thought about Thanksgiving, from the Indian side. Maybe it wasn't the best day of their life.
Probably wasn't so great.
But they used to teach you the Indians, the Pilgrims were starving, and the Indians bring the food and help them out, and, they regret that. So, anyway, a day behind, we got to get rid of all that. There was an article in the paper. I mean, statues anymore. You talk about rewriting history, and they take down all the statues. They went after the, half a dozen Christopher Columbus statues.
Now it's the Columbus statues?
Yeah, they go after
So first it was all the Civil War
now it's
statues.
Columbus.
Right, now it's Columbus. I'm pretty sure we're closing in on Jefferson. He's probably going to lose his monument. Washington Monument, we should take that down as well.
It's all racist.
Statue of Liberty, I'm sure that's racist.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's green. Got to be racist.
Yeah, unless you're, a Muppet. It ain't easy being green, baby. So,
well, maybe if it's green, it's okay because it
probably
goes
green, yeah.
Right,
Kermit the Frog and the Enviros.
Yeah, it saves the environment somehow.
So yeah, things are changing. So tonight you get the, what questions? There was a great op-ed also in the paper today about the guy wrote 8 questions that you should ask Joe Biden. Now, I don't think you're going to see any of this on your TV, and I don't even know if anyone's going to watch it. You have any?
Okay, so I'll be honest. Full disclosure, the first round of debates, when they had 60 of them, they had so many candidates, they had to do it on 2 days. Right? That was the last one I watched.
Right. There's just too many.
It was too many, and it just was. I couldn't. I can't do it.
So are they going to do it all in one now? As the herd thinned?
So now, if you don't meet the minimum requirement, I think it's a polling requirement. If you don't meet the minimum requirement, you're out.
Okay.
So this next debate,
so there's already been
is going to be a much slimmer field.
So there's already been selective elimination then.
Yes. Whether apparently, I'll use our good friend Robert Francis O'Rourke. Robert Francis hasn't met the minimum requirement, but he still hasn't officially dropped out of the race. But he won't be at the debate.
So we're 14 months away from an election. You mean,
actually, the election will be about a year from now.
October or November. So I'm sorry. So 13 months.
Yeah.
So I missed it by a month.
I
need one of those watches. You know the watch that has the date and the year? I need one of those.
Got to have really big hands, big numbers on it.
Of course, if you don't know what year it is, do you really care what time it is? Okay, here's who's participating. Joe Biden, Cory Booker out of New Jersey. Remember, he held up the election. Was it the Senate election or in New Jersey for a recount, and he lost. Mayor Pete. Is he the wife or the husband? I don't know.
I'm not
Mayor
sure.
Pete.
I don't know. Is that a question you can ask?
I don't know. Probably not. I'll probably get in trouble. Anyway, we're going to figure out questions to ask the libs and actually who's in it for tonight. And then you don't have to watch it at all because they won't ask any other questions. Patriot Radio News Hour. Hamburger helper Eric Cedarstrom sitting in. We'll be back. You better get out there to the post office. That's a job, yeah. Trump wants to privatize the post office.
I'm for it.
Danny Glover says it's a racist thing to do. Everything's racist. So
Columbus.
So Columbus
Glover,
Day, Thanksgiving.
The post office.
Thanksgiving.
Listen, I'm drawing the line at Thanksgiving. Fine, you already took Columbus Day away, but I'm drawing the line at Thanksgiving because you know how I like Thanksgiving. Not only do I go to your house to eat all your food, your wife makes extra rolls so I can bring home to my backup turkey that we cook in the oven while we're at your house.
You heard that right. They cook a turkey at their house. They come to my house, eat. We always smoke one. Smoke one, fry one, and cook one. We always a lot of people. We had 72 people one Thanksgiving. Remember that? Whew, man,
I was glad I was not you.
That was a lot.
That was.
So Joe, my wife, always makes an extra. She makes homemade rolls at Thanksgiving, and they are good. The dinner rolls. And so she always makes, for now, I don't know how many years, 20 years, she hides one and gives it to Joe.
For me.
Joe goes home, wolfs down, he takes the thing of rolls, sets it in front of him, turns on the late football game, has another turkey.
Well, let's face it, there's no turkey left. The leftovers. You get the green bean casserole, right? You get some mashed potatoes. You get some ham, but you never get any turkey.
You don't get much turkey, yeah. And my wife used to separate white and black, they put it in the big zip tags. Remember English Bob? Took the whole thing. He just grabbed the bag and took it with him. We're like, hey, where'd that go?
That's why the backup turkey got invented,
right
there.
Because of English Bob.
English Bob took all the turkey. We had no leftovers. I remedied that situation. Plus, here's the other bonus to that. You have to leave. You've got a set time. I know that the turkey's going to be done, at 6 o'clock, so we got to leave. Hey, got to go. Got to get out of here. Important call for Eric. This is what happens, live radio. Joe Jake with Eric Cedarstrom, Patriot Radio News Hour. In case you're just joining us, yes, Columbus Day and Thanksgiving are on the clock to be removed as federal holidays. Well, because let's face it, both of them are racist, and apparently Columbus started the whole global warming problem, which I really don't understand because they had to row the boat back then. I mean, that wasn't like it was using fossil fuels, but nonetheless, a lot of earnings out today. In case you've missed it, today was the real kickoff to earnings season. Big article out yesterday. Actually, it was 2 days ago on Sunday, talking about the S&P 500 in particular, but stocks as a whole. And they were talking about how, remember the dot-com era, right? And everything had these ridiculous valuations, and if it had anything to do, anything.com, IPOs all over the place with these ridiculous pricing, and no one really knew what these stocks were worth, because when the companies reported, they took all the bad stuff out. Right? Oh, well, it was a one-time expense. We had to close half of our stores. It was a one-time expense. Oh, we had an adjustment on our land holdings. It was a one-time expense. Everything's a one-time expense. We had to make a payment to the pension funds, or whatever it may be, was a one-time expense. And so they felt bad for us. The people that regulate, the SEC that regulates Wall Street and the New York Federal Reserve, they got together and said, that probably wasn't very fair to all the 401kers out there. And so they came up with a new rule that said that they wanted to gradually phase in, because it wouldn't be fair for companies to do it right away, phase in what they call generally accepted accounting practices. GAAP accounting, right. And I don't know what the word generally is doing in there.
2 and 2 is
right.
4.5.
Well, it's kind of like, right, why don't we just get the real number? And so they gave it a time frame. Because, can't do that all at once, because, heaven forbid, people actually know what these companies are really making or not making. And so, but before the time that came to say, okay, everybody by this date has to do it, they got rid of it again. And companies no longer report GAAP accounting.
Is it back to pro forma again?
Back to the one-time adjustments. I mean, you have companies like Tesla's a great example. Tesla, the earnings per share number is a difference of like $5 a share. Not that Tesla ever makes any money, but their losses are actually so much worse than what they really are.
Does the law still apply that the CEO is criminally liable when he signs the earnings?
They've watered it down. So, so in the Dodd-Frank, we're going to hold the CEOs accountable now. Because you remember, all the CEOs, their defense was, well, I didn't know. I just run the company.
They used to have a name for that. It was called the Elmer Fudd. I don't know.
And they've watered it all back down now. But for every the 500 companies on the S&P, less than 20 give you GAAP earnings.
How about that?
Yeah. All the rest of them, who knows? We don't know. But today, it was Bank Day. J.P. Morgan, Citi, Goldman, Wells Fargo.
J.P. Morgan, all-time record.
J.P. Morgan was the only one that had a good earnings.
Right,
today.
All-time record revenue.
Yeah, they apparently the biggest bank of them all.
Because they can get money for nothing, and credit card rates are the highest they've ever been.
Big article in the Wall Street Journal today. And I didn't know this. I thought there was like a rule involved on the credit cards as far as what they could charge for.
Oh, no, there's no racketeering laws. No, I mean, it's crazy what they can get away with.
What they want.
Well, this is how they do it. This is why they get people in debt. This is how the banks do it.
The average interest rate now, and this is from the banks, 17%.
Think about that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They can borrow money for less than 2%.
I mean, you could get it cheaper from a Shylock.
Right. I mean, where's Tony Soprano when we need him?
I know.
17%.
You think they got a guy comes around and have to pay the VIG on it? You owe some money. Sorry, the phone rang. I know it's live radio. My dog had to take him to the vet, little Dookie, today, so he was a rescue Duke.
Duke needs to do a Duke. What needs to happen.
Yeah, so he's not feeling well. He ate a bag of treats the grandkids left out Sunday, plastic and all. So this morning he wasn't feeling too good. So hopefully it's just something minor. So we were talking about the debates going into the break here, and here's who's in them: Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Mayor Pete. It's Buttigieg or however you say that. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro. President Castro. Wouldn't that sound weird?
That'd be a little weird.
Well, why not? We're turning into commies. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii.
I liked her.
Yeah. Kamala Harris, California.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amy Klobuchar.
I don't even know who she is.
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, okay.
First you take the sauna, then you roll in the snow. Beto O'Rourke. How does a guy get away with that?
He's not in there.
He's in there. Says he's in there tonight. Beto of Texas.
Well,
Bernie
I guess
Sanders.
I gave you bad info.
Well, it says Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Is he back? Weekend at Bernie's?
I think, he's back.
They admitted it was a heart attack, right?
Well, they had to.
Yeah. So, Tom Steyer, Elizabeth Warren, and my favorite, Andrew Yang. I mean,
he's actually pretty funny.
President Yang would be tough, though, wouldn't that? When they write him, you got Jefferson, Lincoln,
Washington,
Yang. So the yin and the yang of it all, but I love his campaign. He wants to just give everybody a check. This is why there's an electoral college, by the way, because of candidates Yang. So then they asked, here a guy wrote an article. Here's a question that you should ask Biden, but they won't today. Your son Hunter took a position with the Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma, just before you visited Kiev and urged the Ukraine to increase its natural gas production. He was paid $50,000 a month despite having no experience in Ukraine or the natural gas industry. Why do you think Burisma hired your son and paid him such massive sums? That'd be great if they had Jeopardy music. We're going to give you a little time to answer this one. Yes, you're in double jeopardy. So, 2, you say that you pressured the Ukraine to fire its chief prosecutor because it was universally believed that he was not investigating corruption. The Code of Federal Regulations states that when a federal official takes actions that will affect a relative with whom the employee has a close personal relationship, and the circumstance would cause a reasonable person with knowledge of the relevant facts to question the impartiality of the matter. How about this one? 3, Secretary of State John Kerry's stepson, Chris Hines, ketchup family.
Yeah.
Like he needed a job. Well, maybe
That's true. I mean,
so
he's going to inherit a lot of money if he already hadn't.
Yeah, you'd think the Heinz ketchup's doing just fine. So, but anyway, Secretary of State John F. Kerry's stepson Chris Hines was your son's business partner. The swamp, man. It's amazing when they start getting into the swamp. So, this is really what it's all about. This is what it's all about. This is the money, the big money, the East Coast. Even look at the baseball. I mean, what do you got? 4 teams left, and the farthest west you can get is what, Houston?
Yeah, because it's what, the Yankees?
Yeah, Houston.
Washington.
Yeah. Somebody else. See, nobody cares.
St. Louis, I think.
I ran the brewery.
Wow, that's sad. That's who it is. Yeah, it's the Yankees versus the Astros, the Nationals versus the Cardinals.
Right. So you get farthest west, you get Houston.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen a single game.
Nobody cares. So I was running the brewery for my neighbors. They're out of town. Gosh, I'm getting old. Whew, I have a whole new respect for bartenders that I've been yelling at all the years.
Tip those bartenders and waitresses.
Man, my legs are just toast. So, but my wife and I did it. We did a solid for our neighbors. And so you had the football and not one person. I was reading the sports page today. Not one person came in and wanted to see baseball. You got televisions everywhere. And that, by the way, it's a Front Porch Brewery. Cheap plug. Happy Valley. Just come up I-17 and make a right at the Goodwill and go back to the end. They're beautiful. He hand-built it. Randy Bolstrom, amazing man. I mean, a carpenter extraordinaire. And the beers that he brews are just amazing. It's just so weird. The brewery thing is this subculture of people that travel around. I mean, they just travel around. This is a hobby that people have and go from brewery to brewery to brewery all across the country. and they buy the shirts, and they buy the memorabilia, and they buy the glasses, and they collect all this stuff. And, I mean, it's a huge industry. I'm just stunned. If you want to know what tired is, I mean, I told Joe he sold $2,600 of beer, $6 at a time. That's a busy day, so open to close. So anyway, John Kerry's stepson, Chris Hine, was your son's business partner and warned him and Devon Archer not to get involved with Burisma. Why couldn't Kerry, who had no conflict, take the lead on the Ukraine? So, and it just goes on and on. All the questions that should be asked, that won't be.
Nah.
So I thought it was pretty clever. So 1-800-951-0592. Politics, we got to do some of it, because politics and money go together. Arizona, speaking of money and politics, is adding sales tax to online purchases. Consumers in Arizona may not notice the cost of their online purchases going up this month, but it's going to. And as the state is now enforcing a sales tax for out-of-state and online companies, the changes were implemented October 1st, according to Ed Greenberg, communications director for the Arizona Department of Revenue. He said about 800 out-of-state sellers are licensed under the program, with more on the way. It's going to cost an additional 8.6%. They're doing it to level the playing field for brick and mortar businesses. The shopping malls. Patriot Radio News Hour will be back.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily look at the significant issues of our time from an experienced conservative perspective. Sponsored by Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, this broadcast continues the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly and stands against forces that mock traditional values, slander America, and redefine the family. Now, the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon is releasing a new film exposing the treachery of China called Claws of the Red Dragon. It describes how Huawei, the communist-funded technology leader, is poised to dominate world telecommunications for 5G and 6G, which are the next-generation internet connectivity services. The Trump administration has prohibited federal agencies from doing business with Huawei, which Trump recognizes to be a national security threat to the United States. This Chinese company has so infiltrated the American economy that an additional 90 days had to be allowed to wind down business arrangements with Huawei. Trump tweeted, quote, "The vast amounts of money made and stolen by China from the United States year after year for decades will and must stop," end quote. When China announced that it was imposing $75 billion in new tariffs on American goods, Trump responded by tweeting, "This is a great opportunity for the United States." Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, complained to Trump that Apple's exporting of iPhones will be hurt by a so-called tariff war because Apple's Korean competitor Samsung will not have to pay the tariffs. But Apple employs relatively few American employees compared with other large corporations, so it's difficult to see why Apple should be dictating our trade policy. Apple has been making an estimated 50% of its phones in China, and earlier it announced moving a portion of this manufacturing to India instead. These are not American jobs that are at stake, but Asian ones. Indeed, Silicon Valley, where Apple is headquartered, has enriched a few billionaires, but largely failed to hold onto American technology secrets. Now, China can manufacture smartphones using technology stolen from the West, probably using some engineers who returned to Asia after working in Silicon Valley on H-1B visas. Liberals ridiculed Trump for saying he is, quote, "the chosen one," end quote, but the American people did choose him to stand up to China. And in 2020, the American people will have a chance to choose him again. To make America great again requires, at a minimum, ending how China takes advantage of our massive consumer market while stealing our secrets.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. When it comes to international trade, other countries have long been taking advantage of the American people and our generous spirit. At phyllisschlafly.com, we've got strategies to balance trade and protect the interests of American companies, resources, and citizens. For more, go to phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
Howdy, welcome back. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Eric Cedarstrom, sitting in with Joe Jaquint, President, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. I'm just semi-retired. We decided, I think we're just going to do 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I don't interrupt things, if that's all right with you, Joe. So,
you know what? You're always welcome.
it gets me out and gets me to do something.
You got to do something.
So, you know what? I think about the children today and how sad it is. You know, they have no music. Your son's football game, I think the newest song I heard was circa 1972, Neil Diamond. You know, the parents all sing Sweet Caroline, you know.
What does that have to do with a high school football game in Arizona? Absolutely nothing. But yet there it is.
But they have no music. They have no heroes to look up to. Look at the NBA. I mean, you're going to look up to LeBron James? Your son's like, now look, anyone who was looking up to him, especially the people in Hong Kong fighting for freedom, are all burning his jerseys.
I'm going to say this right now. Right? We sit there and people talk about, you know, the black issue, right, and slavery and this and that, and then when it's their turn to stand up, where are they?
Money. Follow the dollar.
Listen, it's about money. I don't want to crucify LeBron James, but I saw that coming. I think everybody did. He's not going to come out and say anything bad. He gets millions and millions of dollars. Are you kidding me? He probably can make more money branding himself in China than he ever could here.
Right. Well, you got to get in bed with the commies. Get it done. Follow the buck. Where you stand on a situation has a lot to do with where you sit, doesn't it? So, but no heroes. You know, NBA heroes. You have an NBA hero growing up?
Growing up?
Yeah, when you were a kid.
Yeah, Bernard King.
Bernard King, see? Believe it or not, I like Jerry West, obviously, but I like Wilt Chamberlain. Everybody wanted to be Wilt the Stilt, you know. We all tried to slam dunk the ball, had to get chairs, you know.
When I was growing up, so I had, my brother was 2 years older than me, and his buddies, and I hung out with those guys. So there was four of us. We'd play 2-on-2 in the driveway. Well, I was the youngest, so I had to pick last. So they were always Magic, Bird, and Kareem.
Right.
And I got stuck being the Iceman, George Gervin.
How about Michael Jordan? Remember, Like Mike.
Be like Mike. Right? Michael was more like I was in high school by then. But
yeah, but a great role model.
Great role model.
For young kids. I mean, a great role model. So today, you know what? LeBron. So be like Mike, and you got to get it on like LeBron, I guess.
Well, LeBron, you know, LeBron's kind of viewed kind of like an a-hole now. Kobe, right? He was an a-hole, right? I mean, you know, Chuck, I am not a role model. Barkley, right? I mean, these are the guys that we got.
He's pretty good, though.
I like Chuck now, right? So, Shaq, I like Shaq.
Like it or not, Charles Barkley was a good role model for old fat guys.
He gave me a lot of hope.
And watching this golf game, remember they did that? That was pretty good.
Let me tell you, I can never be that bad at golf.
No, God, it was horrible. So anyway, it's just nothing for them. I mean, it's how the world has changed. And I guess maybe they don't want them. Is there anybody to look up to? I don't know. So, yeah, it's just terrible. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. Eric Cedarstrom with Joe Jaquin. The IMF also came out. They revised their global growth numbers this morning. It doesn't look too cheery. I think everything's kind of, Wall Street equities, everything's just kind of going to be in a holding pattern. You got an impeachment hanging over a U.S. president. Nobody knows what's going to happen to this. I mean, this could trigger a civil war in this country. I mean, you know, really, you're going to impeach a sitting president because of hearsay from a whistleblower? I mean,
that we don't know who it is.
Right. So, you know, and eventually the whistleblower's got to come out, right? I mean,
I don't know. They're trying to stop it because here's why. It's the old adage, well, why not release it? Because you're going to find out he's a huge liberal homer. That's what you're going to find.
A liberal homer.
You know, that's why they don't want him to be known, right? It's going to be, again, the same problem, which is the witch hunts, if you will, and instead of focusing on, and this is the part they really think about all the stuff that's happening, right? We've got we'll call it the trade war, right? We've got the whole thing happening over there in the Middle East with Iran and Syria and Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, right? The Middle East doing what the Middle East does. We're supposed to get the Mexico, Canada. I don't even know what that free trade deal is called anymore. But that
the USMCA.
The USMCA, right?
Gomer Pyle, USMCA.
We can't get that. I mean, we got a deficit now. We're breaking $1 trillion deficits. Nobody wants to do any actual work.
The sitting Congress has done nothing in 3 years.
Nobody.
Except try to get rid of the president.
That's all they've done.
I know. It's great, though.
Let's have more investigations. Let's investigate the investigation that was hired to investigate the investigation of the original investigation.
Well, they're saying, though, that, I like Trump said that, you have a whistleblower, you've got somebody who's basically committing treason. They're inside, they're taking things that are classified and leaking them out.
Right. I liken it to the anonymous email. Right? If you can't put your name on it, then it's not worth what it's written on.
We don't know who the whistleblower could be. It could be that porno star. What was it?
Stormy
Daniels. So,
it could be Stormy Daniels' former lawyer.
Well, and it's interesting how history repeats itself. 102 years ago today in 1917, Dutch exotic dancer Mata Hari, Margarita Zita McLeod, 41.
She was quite a looker.
Convicted by a French military court of spying for the Germans, was executed by a firing squad outside Paris. Maintaining her innocence to the end, Mata Hari refused a blindfold and blew a kiss to her executioners before they opened fire on her. So now, that's what Trump had actually said. That's what you do with treasonous people. You used to execute them or hang them. So I don't know if he said that, but
that's not a direct quote.
But isn't that the same as a whistleblower? I'll tell you what, if they actually did start doing that, it may cut down on some of the spying in the Oval Office. 1-800-951-0592 is our business line if you want to order some product and get some put away. It's a great time. Everything's just kind of going to be on hold here. I think ultimately what we're going to see as we head into the election year is, they've got Dow 36,000 set in their sights. That was put into the business model, into the algorithms of the computers back in the 2 decades ago. Remember that? When everything was going to be Dow 10,000, and then they came out with Dow 36,000. Unfortunately, Dow 36,000 should be gold 5,000 and gasoline $10.
Well, that may happen.
It's just what happens. It's not so much that everything's going up, it's the fact that everything around you just costs more. I mean, and the value of the currency is going down. And that's really why, if you study history throughout just any society, it's not that you think that things are going to go up, but it's the money that it takes to buy them that continually keep diluting it with more and more debt. I saw today you could get a new GMC. You get $12,000 off. The truck used to be $6,000 when I was, a kid. Anyway, Patriot Radio News Hour. The blind leads the stupid. We'll be back. Greg Olman, Patriot Radio News Hour, rocking and firing. Thanks for tuning in. You can go to 1360khnc.com and listen 24/7, 365. You get the program lineup. And this show originates at the mothership up there in Colorado, the same station. You can also hear it here in Phoenix, KXXT, 1010 AM. Ramon running the switches, does a great job, great producer, and Jason up in Colorado. They have something about both of them there. They've got tremendous knowledge about music, history, great twisted sense of humor. You never know what they're going to throw in. They just fit right in, both of them. It's amazing. So how about this one? I heard you talking about Chinese Oreos yesterday.
Wasabi.
Yeah, they get all that stuff.
Spicy chicken.
I'm upset about that.
Seaweed.
Lay's potato chips, they have like chive and onion, and they
sour cream and onion,
chive. Now they got cheddar, they got everything. But you know what they have? Then you're up in the Pacific Northwest. They have biscuits and gravy. Big fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Biscuits and gravy. When I saw the potato chips, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. So they're not good for you, but they're really good tasting. But for some reason, they don't sell them in Arizona. I don't know why.
So it's a regional thing.
Regional thing. And I saw that yesterday. They had all of displays, and I've never been able to find them here.
I wonder if it's like a test market.
I don't know. Yeah, because, people eat biscuits and gravy because they work for a living, loggers and ranchers.
You're a trucker.
Farmers,
you don't have time to stop for biscuits and gravy out in the middle of the forest.
It's a redneck thing. So I guess we're just not red enough here. So.
Honey, the wife calls you up on the phone. What did you have for breakfast? Oh, I had biscuits and gravy today.
Oh, good. You're eating healthy. Then they did an article, those dang Chinese. A guy says there's so many UFO sightings. They had the Air Force now there's been a rash of them. I don't know if you're following all that.
I don't want to.
Okay, but now there's these issues. So the lights are popping up again, weird lights.
Right.
And they've had a couple of, these are military jets, where guys, they got to be sitting there talking pilot to co-pilot. You want to report that? No. So it's really got to be something. So a guy wrote a thing going, I hope when the UFOs get here that they contact the Americans first. And I'm like, you never thought about that. So, what if they end up in, I don't know, Kazakhstan, and they fly back home going, don't go down there, man. That place is awful. That world is messed up. So,
well, here's what I'm thinking, because I said this the other day. As you said, there's like thousands of them now. It's like a week doesn't go by. There's more lights. Now they're out at the Grand Banks, the Outer Banks. They're all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself, how bad is it here that none of them, have stopped to say hello?
Yeah, I know. That's right. They go over like,
nah.
Let's
this
keep
place
looking.
is a dump.
Well, that'd be great, though. One of them crashes like Area 51, and they go and they finally get it, and they look at it, and they go, made in China.
Hecho.
Right, Hecho in China. They've been talking to him the whole time. I don't know. It's getting pretty weird, isn't it? It doesn't get much weirder. Thanks for tuning in. You never know what you're going to hear. Here, how about this one? There is, there's social responsibility investing, You've heard of that, right? Where you only buy green companies, you don't invest in gun companies or whatever,
Even that's all a lie, because they're over there spending by buying all these Chinese companies. They and you think about it, they would love for Saudi Aramco to go public so they could buy that,
So, and again, when it gets right down to it, get it on like LeBron, we don't care. We don't care if you're commies. The NBA, we don't care. NFL, yeah, we're not going to kneel. We're not going to, American flags. And so it just doesn't matter. I mean, you're watching. You are witnessing. You're witnessing the end of the country. I mean, you got one president trying to hang on, and every move he makes doesn't matter that half the country's trying to get rid of him. It's just crazy. Crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy. Trying to put the genie back in the bottle. Let's go. Let's get the country back going. Let's build things here. Oh, you can't do that. What? Put people to work and get What if you get a factory going? It'll have a smokestack and it'll ruin everything. Did you see OAC crying on television? I can never have a baby. I'm like, what?
Well, that's because nobody. Never mind.
You can have a baby. Oh God, the environment. These kids believe this. This is being taught in the schools. This is what the liberal teachers are telling the children, that you have no future. Now, we knew we had no future when I graduated high school because Jimmy Carter was president. He was the first, remember, he did the speech, the first president ever going, this is the first generation ever in the history of the country that is not going to have it as good as their parents. So, I mean, it was pretty bleak. 20% interest rates, gas lines.
Oh, a tough time.
Pretty tough, man. And then the 1980 Olympic hockey team saved us. It really did, too.
You know what's so funny is I didn't even put that together. My parents, my dad worked in TV, and after the Olympic, they threw in that summer. So that was the winter. In the summer, my parents threw this big party, and my dad had made or gotten his hands on the Olympic team, the highlight. Like they had this whole little video. This is when VCRs first got invented, and the VCR was almost as big as the TV itself. And we had it in there, and my parents, they had the hats and all the 4th of July stuff. The whole neighborhood's there, and they popped that thing in there, and it was just like, people. I mean, we already knew what happened. Right. But
nobody saw it because it was during the day. Right, people used to work for
USA.
Yeah.
Right, everybody, the whole neighborhood chanting USA, USA. I mean, it was.
It's funny. It really was. When they wrote the history books, it really was a turning point. So today, it's just kind of everybody's. Just watching the country just get picked apart.
Today, nobody even cares. If the Olympics, nobody watches it anymore.
Yeah, I know. So plus, they're all pros. That's what did it. So you got to follow the dollar. When you get to the dollar, there's supposed to be things that you can't invest. There's blacklisted Chinese companies, and the U.S. pension funds, the publicly traded funds, the government funds are not supposed to do it. Not supposed to do it. But, if they think they're going to get a return, do you think they'll do it? We're going to look into that final segment coming up. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour, live on the 15th day of October. All you people who file late taxes, they're due today. We'll be back. Yabba dabba doo. Patriot Radio News Hour, allamericangold.com, 1360 KHNC.com, talking about the blacklisted pension funds, or the blacklisted Chinese company. Here's one, a Chinese surveillance company. This is the one that does the facial recognition, and they're just doing it so they're going to be able to track everybody, and they're going to do it here. You're not going to be able to drive anywhere, and I don't really know if you can go now anywhere.
Let me tell you right now, the Constitution's going away.
Yep, yeah,
it's going away. You're going to have
Thanksgiving and Columbus Day,
a social credit score type system. It's coming everywhere. I mean, that's just what it's going to be.
Some of the biggest public pension funds in the United States have invested in one of the world's largest purveyors of video surveillance. The systems that U.S. government claims are used in a wide-scale repression of the Muslim population of Western China. The Trump administration's decision to put the company Hangzhou Hexvision Digital Technology Company on a blacklist last week was prompted at least two of the pension plans to say they are reviewing or monitoring that development.
We're reviewing it. I think we're going to buy more. Do you think we really care about the Muslim population in China, really?
Does it?
Well, you really think that's what it's about?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, they've been doing this for hundreds of years, right? Just like in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East. Do we really care about how they treat women? No, they don't care. Can we make any money or not?
What a name for the company, though, Hikvision. Is that like beer goggles? It's H-I-K Vision. So, Hikvision, Hikvision, I don't know. New York State Teachers Retirement System owns Hikvision. So they've got 81,000 shares.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah. Our holdings are primarily held according to their weights in passive portfolios.
What they really need is to start buying some gold and silver. That's really what they need to be doing. Yeah, that's their way. Plausible deniability. Oh, it's just in a passive fund. That fund happened to buy this Hikvision. We didn't know.
I know, and it's crazy. So, the president has to do that, though. So
yeah.
Supposed to put everything in just
a blind trust,
right? And then you get your statement. What do we own? How did I lose 27% in 10 days? The $33 billion Alaska Permanent Fund is also looking at a China fund featuring Hikvision. So I don't know, how do they know all that? So I wonder if they have to publish what they're doing. No, they must. So what's gold doing, Joe?
Gold's down 10 right now. Silver is down about 25 cents. Gold's at $14.80. Silver's at $17.50. Great special today. U.S. $20 libs. These are all XFVFs. There's a couple hundred of them. Here's what makes it the price: $15.25.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I don't get to set them. I just get them. This was the opportunity. It landed in my inbox about 10 minutes ago. There's going to be VFXS. Tons of dates, by the way. The email says a lot of pre-1900s. These are 1866 to 1907, all the way down to $1,525.
100-year-old coin for just about spot gold. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, less than
that's amazing.
Not even $50 over spot at 800.
Tell me the country's not frozen right now. They don't know what to do.
Nobody does. 800-951-0592. And that's such a great point. It's the best time to buy, right? Because nobody knows what to do, so nobody does anything. Wall Street's not moving. Gold and silver aren't moving. Nothing's moving. Right. Everybody's waiting. Which way is it going to go next?
Everybody's locked in, I can tell you that. So add to your portfolio when opportunities like this exist. Get the most you can. Biggest bang for your buck. 1-800-951-0592. I'll see you on Thursday. Joe will be back tomorrow, as always. God bless everybody. Thanks for tuning in.